Hello, everyone. I'm Joyce Davis, Director of Communications for the City of Harrisburg, and this is another edition of Who's Who in Harrisburg. I am privileged to be joined today by Ms. Dereasha Leaks, who is the mother of the late Rayon Braxton. And Ms. Leaks has agreed to come and talk to us today, not only about her son, but about herself, about her life, and about what she's now trying to do in the community to make sure that our youth have a chance to live. And so I'm going to turn now and welcome Dereasha Leaks and really ask her to, first of all, welcome. We're so glad to have you here. And just ask you to share with us just a little bit about the love you had for your son and who was he as a person.
Thank you. Rayon was a great young man. Rayon inspired me in a lot of ways to push forward and to keep going. I was a teenage mother when I had Rayon, 15 years old, and from the moment he was born, I knew that he was going to be something great. I used to tell him when he was, 2 and 3, and he was so rambunctious, and it's like he almost didn't have any fears. He would run and play, and almost, as he didn't see walls, he didn't see any type of danger in life.
He was fearless.
He was fearless. That's the word I'm looking for. He was truly fearless, and I admired that about him. And he came from very humble beginnings. Like I said, I was a teenage mother, and Rayon was the oldest of 4 kids, and he was the only boy.
Oh, wow.
So he had his 3 sisters under him, and he took his responsibility as being the older brother very seriously.
And did he go to school here in Harrisburg? I mean, what kind of a student was he?
He graduated from Susquehanna Township.
Okay.
And he didn't like school very much.
He didn't. Okay.
No, he didn't like school, but he finished.
Okay.
That was a goal of mine, to see all my children graduate. And Rayon knew how serious I took education in our household. I used to tell them when they was little, that's how they earned a paycheck. I go to work and y'all go to school. I may bring home money, but y'all grades are like money to me. And they took that and ran with it.
And so now clearly he was truly dedicated to trying to help young people in Harrisburg.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about what he was trying to do, and all the different paths and the things that led to where to his opening basically a kind of, what is it, a music place in the warehouse or what?
A community venue. He wanted a place for the young people to gather, where they can feel as though they can express themselves and be heard, whether it was through poetry. They used to have open mic where they would ad-lib and pass the mic off, and each one would add on to whatever the scene was that night, and they would have different rap battles. Rayon was a great dancer. He also taught dance there. He started off like 14, 15 years old. I was in search of finding something for my kids to do and be creative, and came across the Systems of Care, New Beginnings Enrichment Program. First, he started off as a student participating, and while he was there, he became a youth counselor.
Okay.
His last couple summers there, he was a youth counselor, where he helped write the play.
So he was artistic.
He was very
really
artistic.
From writing to dancing to poetry. You said he wrote poetry as well.
He wrote poems for our church.
Right.
He helped develop the play A Child Called Hope with the Systems of Care under the New Beginnings.
Well, it does sound like that he really was pretty great.
Yeah.
Really was. Well, let's talk a little bit here now about you. I'm going to tell you I was impressed when I first heard you. I was impressed because you didn't seem to be speaking for yourself. You seemed to be speaking a message to Harrisburg and a message to the parents of Harrisburg. And that's why I wanted to talk to you. You are driven now. You have a new reason for living. Tell us about that.
Losing Rayon was tragic for me and my family, but also it was a new birth for our life and to be able to move forward in the vision that God has for all of us, all mankind. I take the responsibility of our children, of our community, of ourselves very seriously. I believe it starts with self. If you're going to see a change, it must begin within yourself. If it to impact your community, impact on your job, or whatever other venues in life you're going to travel.
It starts with the individual, the personal pride in how you carry yourself, the personal pride in where you live, how clean the place is around you. I mean, is that what you're speaking of?
All of that. We can all dress up on the outside, and the inside we're a mess.
Very
but
true.
you know, we that's where we want to come in at and bring, you know, existing services and programs and things that's already in practice together to help, because our community needs not just someone to shame, blame, and accuse them. We know what ills that we have in our community. We need solutions. We need people, committed people, you know, and for people to hold themselves accountable, to stop looking to the next person, you know, to look in your own mirror, to identify the things that's going on in your own house, to take accountability. If your children, you know, if you feel as though they're in trouble, or a neighbor or someone in your community is going astray, it's our responsibility to say something, to, you know, not only say something, but, you know, offer something.
So it sounds like you really are, and we'll talk about your organization, but you really are giving this call for personal responsibility. It starts with me.
It starts with me. It starts with each and every one of us. When you have a child, it's no longer about you. You have an obligation to that child. And though I was a teenage mother and didn't finish school in the beginning, I dropped out of school in the 6th grade. And through the grace of God and through other people, you know, I managed to go back to school and go on to college. And I always knew once I crossed over and from that adolescence to, you know, to that young adult with a baby, well, I wasn't grown, but I had the responsibilities of an adult. And I don't promote teenage pregnancy. I don't promote having children out of wedlock, because you learn those characteristics. That wasn't, you know, necessarily what I was brought up to believe, which was, you know, right or wrong, is something that I appreciated throughout life.
But that's an important message you just gave here. Even though we don't want to, blame or discourage young mothers who are teenage mothers, the truth is it is a hard thing to do, to be a mother first.
Oh, yeah.
And then to be a mother who's still a child.
Yes.
That's even harder.
Yes. And unfortunately, a lot of our society is faced with that. You have children raising children. You have a 45-year-old grandmother, possibly great-grandmother, you know. I'm 41 and I have 2 grandchildren, you know, and this isn't uncommon. And it's become more normal now. But we're forgetting the fact that these kids have to grow up. They have to be able to be productive people of society. They have to be out there and be competitive with other other cultures, other races, other countries. And our children, when they are filled with you know, the media of what's popular in the moment, the rappers, the fancy clothes, the keeping up with the Joneses, so they say, that's not installing any moral values of substance in your children to grow up. And I'm not wanting to offend any parent, because we do what we're taught or what we believe to be true.
But you do, it sounds like you do think we need to recommit to some values in our society, to some moral foundation.
Yes.
Which includes perhaps not getting pregnant when you're a teenager.
I do promote abstinence. I mean, I think that we can, if our children had more things to get involved with, if they were able to have a place that they can feel connected to, that can keep them distracted, because of course that's human nature to want to connect, you know, with one another. But that shouldn't be the source of someone.
So let's talk in our final minutes now about your organization. You clearly are so committed. You founded a new organization, and this new organization is focused on parents, on mothers. Or tell me about it, and what can our viewers do to help?
Our viewers can come out to our community forums. We have a systems of care where we have different committees and different. We have a youth committee, which is going to be Monday. It's every month, the last Monday of the month. Also, a family committee. We have a faith-based committee.
So is there a place, or can you get me that information? We can put it on the city's website. We can put it on our Facebook page so that people know a place to look for when these meetings are being held. Do you have a website yourself too?
Absolutely. I don't have a website,
Okay.
but yes, I can provide that information for them. And that's what it's for people to come out, for people to join. I've been involved since 2006, and it's we have annual Christmas celebrations that we just celebrated this past holiday, which has grown.
Wonderful. So is there any final words you want to give to the city and to the region as people are looking and wondering how they can help and what more we can do? There is a move now that people really want to get involved with stopping the violence and with helping our children. What's the final thing you want to tell us?
We want to see collaboration. There's a lot of great services that's out there. There's a lot of great programs. We're into practicing these programs. You know, it's time out for, you know, this siloed over here, this siloed over here. We need to collaborate together and see how we can aid in the community as one. You know, and that's what we want to bring to our organization, a one-stop shop where people can come to one place and get directed throughout the city for their needs.
Well, it has been wonderful talking to you. I can tell you're going to do great things in the city yourself. You're committed. And I just want to thank you for being here and sharing your heart with us.
Thank you.
And I thank you very much again and welcome you to keep tuned in to WHBG Channel 20 for another edition of Who's Who in Harrisburg.